AOC won praise from conservatives after she grilled Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle. Now, Cheatle testified yesterday before the House Committee on Oversight and Reform, answering questions about the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. Take a listen to how AOC responded after Cheatle said there wouldn't be a complete report of the incident for another 60 days.
The notion of a report coming out in 60 days when the threat environment is so high in the United States, irrespective of party, is not acceptable. And I think it's very important to understand that. This is not theater. This is not about jockeying. This is about the safety of some of the most highly targeted and valued targets internationally and domestically in the United States of America. So the idea that a report will be finalized in 60 days, let alone prior to any actionable decisions that would be made, is simply not acceptable. It has been 10 days since an assassination attempt on a former president of the United States, regardless of party. There need to be answers.
AOC went further, saying the stakes are too high for this level of failure.
The public deserves to have full confidence, and the stakes are too high. The violence that could break out in this political moment, regardless of party, in the event of someone getting hurt, constitutes a national security threat to the entire country. Thank you.
This is how Director Cheatle, who has refused to resign, responded to the questions.
I want to assure you and everyone on this committee that I'm not waiting for a report to take action. We have been conducting analysis all along, and we have been adding additional features to our security details since this incident occurred.
Other lawmakers grew frustrated with Cheatle for avoiding their questions. Here's Republican Representative Nancy Mace. Let's watch.
Has the Secret Service provided this committee a complete list of all law enforcement personnel that were there that day? Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or no?
I will have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th? Yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of shit today. You're just being completely dishonest.
Questions Cheatle avoided included how the gunman was able to get a rifle on the roof, why an agent wasn't on that roof, why Trump was allowed to take the stage despite people pointing out a gunman was on the roof, among other questions. Cheatle later stressed that she was not trying to be evasive, but rather was trying to provide information that was accurate. That reasoning did not stop Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer and Ranking Member Jamie Raskin from penning a joint letter urging her to resign. In a rare moment of bipartisanship, the letter said, quote, "Today, you failed to provide answers to basic questions regarding that stunning operational failure and to reassure the American people that the Secret Service has learned its lessons, and we call on you to resign as director as a first step to allowing new leadership to swiftly address this crisis." I think that sounds right.
Yeah, 100%. I'm usually deeply skeptical of bipartisanship. Often bipartisanship results in some of the bad policies. There's bipartisanship on things that are not good. This is completely called for, and I was happy to see it. I was very pleased that this was not made into a partisan issue where, just Republicans attacking the Secret Service. There were great questions from a number of Democrats, including Maxwell Frost and also AOC, who was getting praised by conservatives on Twitter for asking, the questions we showed there. And also, we didn't play the clip, but she also pointed out, and this is so smart, you're saying that this building was beyond the perimeter. But the AR-15 is one of the most common kinds of guns that are owned in America, and it has a range of 600 yards. So if your perimeter is shorter than 600 yards, is there something wrong with your policies then? It was a very good question, and Cheatle had no satisfying response. So anyway, I'm very happy to see this not being made into a partisan issue because Donald Trump was the target. We don't even know if there's been some suggestion in trying to understand the shooter and his motivations that he was looking for any political target. He'd also Googled Biden and locations Biden would be at. As far as I know, again, that reporting could be subject to later revision, but it's not just that it's not just about protecting Trump, it's about protecting anyone who is in political life and who is a potential target. And Kimberly Cheatle has utterly lost the faith of the American people and of Congress on this. And it is stunning. It is amazing that she will not resign in disgrace at this point.
Absolutely. I think there were two things people were looking for that would make me feel okay, that would make the public feel okay if Kimberly Cheatle stayed the leader of the Secret Service. And I think one would be everyone followed protocol and policies, but there's something wrong with the policies, as AOC was trying to get at, saying this is the most popular gun in America. Why is the perimeter not within the span of that gun's range? That's a reasonable question. She should have said, you're right, and this has revealed that there's something wrong with the policies that we've had for many, many years, and we need to change our policies. And something like this, thankfully, didn't result in a successful assassination, and we're able to adjust our policies before it does. That would have been satisfactory. Or she could have said, there's nothing wrong with the policies, but the failures occurred here, here, and here. The fact that she wasn't able to do that and wasn't able to give a straightforward answer because she didn't have the information she needed to be accurate. She should have prepared better. She should have said, I'm going to be asked a lot of these questions by Congress and I need to know the answers. She didn't do that, and I think that makes her a bad public servant.
Right, she just refused to answer. And we're so sick of this. We're so sick of a total and complete lack of accountability from people in roles like this, who are administrators, who are working behind the scenes, and when something goes wrong, it's always someone else's fault or some nebulous process that went wrong. She is in charge of the Secret Service. She is ultimately responsible for the policies, and the failure here seems pretty egregious. That roof was not sufficiently checked or was not within the perimeter, or that they didn't have people stationed on top of it, or that the information that there was a shooter was not relayed to the team around Trump fast enough to get him off the stage, even though minutes elapsed between bystanders pointing out the shooter to the police engaging, an officer climbing up to that roof and engaging with him and distracting him. This is all taking place. Trump is still talking on the stage. There's no effort to move him or get him down. And, Trump was struck by a bullet. It's a miracle he was not more seriously harmed, and someone else was. Someone lost their life because of these failures. So this isn't a whoops, we got to do better next time, but thankfully no one was hurt. No, Donald Trump was hurt, not seriously, thank goodness, and 2 other people were hurt, and a man was killed. A man lost his life because of this failure. So the idea that she doesn't resign, but people never resign anymore. People never take accountability. It's true of our political leaders now. They're much less likely to resign. Menendez has just been convicted, senator from New Jersey, of very serious financial crimes, money, gold bars stuffed into corners of his house, and he's not resigning from office. The Democrats and Republicans are going to have to force him. They're going to have to eject him because he won't resign in disgrace. People will not let go of the power they accrue.
Yeah, and this has really opened the door for so many people to come up with conspiracy theories about what possibly could have happened. There's a very popular theory, thankfully, I'm not saying popular is in the majority of people, but it's enough that I see it a lot when I'm online reading about this. And it's that this was intentional, that the Secret Service was in on it, that there was a plot to assassinate Trump from within the deep state or what have you. And that Sheila Jackson Lee, who was involved in Oversight, was a big part of overseeing the Secret Service. She was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer within a few weeks before the assassination attempt. She died because she had pancreatic cancer, one of the most deathly cancers. People are saying that she was intentionally killed so that she couldn't say what the Secret Service was up to. That's ridiculous. She wasn't found in her car like a Boeing whistleblower. But this is what happens when you have this kind of misconduct within government and the kind of corruption of Bob Menendez, as people lose trust. And then they come up with these conspiracy theories to try and make sense of this sense that they have that something's not going right in our government and that I shouldn't trust them all the way. And that's a scary place to be for American politics.
No, I absolutely understand why people are asking, they have a lot of questions, because how could they screw up this badly? And a lot of people say, well, so there must have been malice in it. It must have been deliberate. I absolutely understand why people understand that. What is often missing from that analysis is that there is just gross malfeasance and incompetence and a lack of accountability. This is, in government work, it's There's often more structural protections from being fired or being held accountable for wrongdoing. It's very difficult to get rid of people. The government is very vast, so this is not true in all agencies or in all cases, but it can be hard to remove leadership from government organizations, and so there is often people asleep at the wheel, not doing a good job because it's hard to fire them. Like this on her watch, the presidential candidate was nearly assassinated, and she's not even resigning. So, and I don't know I don't even understand the mechanisms in place. Could President Biden order her to be fired? I imagine he can and probably should when he when he's feeling better and is ready to make public appearances again. He was missing. Yesterday there was a lot of speculation of what is going on with Joe Biden. I think he's probably just humiliated and kind of hiding out. But speaking of conspiracy theories, there was a lot yesterday going like, is he still alive? What is going on?
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and the corruption and the misconduct is what opens the door for that. I blame people like Bob Menendez and Kimberly Cheatle for these conspiracy theories. I don't blame the American people for drawing conclusions with the information that they have.
More Rising right after this.